Hi guys, so I just wanted to tell you a brief thing about OCD that I think is absolutely crucial. And it's that you gotta view every single thing that's gonna happen to you on your OCD journey as another piece of the puzzle. And this is absolutely non-negotiable. Like, if you really mean this seriously, if you really wanna get better and get recovered, I mean, you gotta have a certain grit in it. It's like, there wasn't a moment that I could say I really got better until I really felt that grit. It's a weird thing, but it's like, I work with people with addictions and they've got this phase that they go through, right? These different phases of pre-contemplation. Oh, should I do this? Should I? Well, there are these pluses and these cons. I don't know. And everybody's, oh, of course you should recover, right? Of course you should give up addiction. But to that person, it's not that certain, right? It's just, there's so many pluses we don't see when we see a person who's a drug addict. But there are so many pluses, man. You can, every time you feel bad, you can just magically undo it. We all got our little rituals. They've got these big rituals. So they need to get a certain grit, a certain hell no, right? A certain hell no. Like Frankl, he always talked about yes to life. Well, you got to have a hell no to your OCD if you want to recover. And the moment you have it, one thing comes that absolutely is the most non-negotiable thing. Every single thing that happens to you. What that grit is to me is one thing only. Everything that comes, I'm not gonna be a victim. I'm gonna use that for my benefit. So back to Viktor Frankl and his logotherapy, an interesting approach to therapy, which I really like and admire. You gotta have this active stance towards life, this yes towards life, no matter what. Hell no towards OCD, but yes towards whatever OCD gives you. Yes, I'm gonna work with that. Yes, this is good enough. Yes, I'm gonna use that too in order to better myself as a person. You really need to take this as a betterment of yourself as a person and as a being, really, as a human being, right? I've always admired Eckhart Tolle, the power of now. Not so much anymore. These can become very compulsive really quickly, but I've always used those because, I mean, this is what it is. Like, at the end of the day, you're either stuck in your head or you're living in the now, uncompulsively, right? You're not like, oh my God, I'm in the now. And even if you're not in the now because of OCD, that's completely okay too. But you're in this mode of acceptance, no matter who it is, right? Jonathan Grayson, Ray Wilson, all these great OCD therapists, they all come to the same conclusion. At the end of the day, it's all about acceptance. And this is what OCD leads you to. It's like an ultimate gym trainer for acceptance. If you're gonna view it as such, every single exercise is gonna serve you. It's an exercise. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but it's an exercise. And maybe you haven't done that exercise before. Maybe let's say it's a hack squat instead of a normal squat. And you're like, oh, this kind of hurts my knees. This is uncomfortable. But the trainer's like, yeah, well, that's what we're doing today. Deal with it. And you're like, all right, well, I'll have to, right? There's probably no other option for me. And so you do. And this is what you got to do with OCD. This is like so important. And the only person I really hear talk about this is Rob from OCD Recovery YouTube channel. Other than that, I don't know. It's not, but to me, everybody's journey is different, right? With OCD and anxieties. But to me, this is the main thing for my journey is cooperate with it, whatever it is, right? Whatever the thing, it serves you, you eat it, you find it delicious, even if you freaking hate it inside, you're like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, and I'm gonna work with this, right? And it doesn't have to be a pretense, like, oh, I like this, no. But you gotta be pragmatic, you gotta be practical about it. The best clients that I found that come to me for sessions, no matter whether it's OCD or whatever it is, are always the ones who have this grit and I'm gonna cooperate. I've got this awesome client with social anxiety, which I used to have for many years. and it's one of the favorite things that I deal with clients. And he was like, hey man, I'm just, no matter what it takes. Like, he had that, I call it inner warrior sometimes, as Robert Moore, a Jungian therapist, would call it, a warrior archetype. And I'm like, I love this guy, because no matter what happens to him, he just goes, and he's like, yeah, that happened to him, but it doesn't matter, right? The worst possible thing you can imagine, like the worst for his possible progress in anxiety. And I'm like, okay, that's it. This guy is gonna go into a reverse mode, and he's just gonna regress to the point where he's gonna be like, oh yeah, this was the most unfortunate thing that could possibly happen at this point for my progress, right? I had such a good progress, and now this happened. And he never does that. He always comes and he's like, hey, that happened to me, and it's so unfortunate, it's so bad. It's actually even bad from a anxiety standpoint, right? For example, he's really, really sick, right? And actually, he was so good on exposures, on going outside, talking to people, and now he cannot do that because he's really sick. Well, he's like, yeah, well, it doesn't matter. At least I'm not gonna be too hooked on healing myself, too hooked on, hey, I gotta get out of this 100%. Otherwise, my life is total hell, right? Which still would be in acceptance. So he's like, hey, at least I'm gonna practice that. So it's even better to him. And every single time, he's like lifting more weights in a gym, thanks to this approach. He's never like, oh, I don't wanna do hack squats. No, he does them, and he does them heck good, right? He does them like, and he's very practical, almost like measured approach. And I'm not saying don't ever talk about your emotions. Don't be like robot, right? People with OCD anxiety hear this and we're like, oh, I gotta be super, like, I gotta be Dr. Housey, right? I gotta be like, oh, give me a scalpel and I'm gonna, no, but he's super practical. He's never come in and like, oh, this happened to me and it's so bad. And he's never in this victim mode. He's like, okay, this happened to me. This is what I learned from it. This is what I need to know on how to proceed about it so I can learn from it even further. Have this grit, use everything that it gives you, no matter what it is, and you'll be golden, no matter what disorder. Peace, and have a good one. See you soon.